Hey guys, and welcome to Saturday Mega Wellness. I'm Dell with the Mega Sports. This is our live Facebook show. We do it every Saturday morning. We are opening our stores as we speak at 10 a.m. We're open from 10 to 6 p.m. today, Saturday, and then tomorrow from 11 to 6. We are excited. It's Memorial Day weekend, or as we like to call it, Mega Memorial Active Play Weekend. We sent out an email today. I'll talk a little bit about what you can expect this weekend from us. We've got a fantastic show. We're going to do a stretching exercise with our friend from True Motion Therapy, Dr. Clay Sankey. And then more importantly, this show is dedicated to On Running. We are going to have our experts joining us from On Running today. They're going to be joined by our fantastic partner, Dan Keller, who is our regional market leader and head of running for Omega Sports. Let's go ahead and bring them in now. Hey guys, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Thanks for having us back.
Absolutely. I kind of jumped the intro just to get you guys on screen because I don't like being alone here. So Dan, welcome. We're excited to have you. This is your debut on Saturday Mega Wellness.
Very excited to join you from a very muggy Charlotte, North Carolina this morning. It was a warm one this morning with a group run.
Yeah. So real quick, I know you just went on a group run. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, we posted really late yesterday. I think everybody's anxious to get back together. So about 10 people showed up for about 5-6 mile run this morning from our Park Road location. Safely distanced, spread out. Charlotte has a really cool initiative going on right now called Shared Streets. So a lot of the streets right behind our store are closed right now. So it was a good time to see everybody and have adult conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone was excited. Now, Dan, you obviously you've been with Omega for 13 years and you've cultivated quite a running community there.
Yes, it's been a wild ride. What started as just a small training group about 10 years ago has morphed into 800 plus people who follow very closely all of our running events we have going on in Charlotte, our training groups, sponsored runs, you name it. It's been phenomenal to watch so many people do things they didn't think they could do.
Yeah, and so we call them a mega nation.
Yes, we do. Everybody's
That's right.
welcome to jump on there.
Yep, and of course we've got our friends from On Running. We've got Susan Garcelon and Sam Montclair. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you know Dan obviously, and you know that he has cultivated such a community of runners, and I know you guys participate in a lot of those communities. But I'm going to quickly ask Dan just to talk about the fact that over the years, I know you have seen this fantastic brand called On, really kind of starting to take over.
Yeah, it's been an amazing ride. I think maybe 3-4 years ago we took them on board. I'll be honest, I was hesitant, and then within months, it was a brand that the employees were pulling out. They love it, and the community themselves have really embraced it. Just this morning on the run, I think out of the 10 people there's probably 3 of them wearing Ons. So you can tell that their market share has really jumped from nothing in the U.S. to pretty significant. They're certainly a top 3 with us without fail, and deservedly so.
And Susan, you're the account manager and you handle kind of the sales for On for our area. How exciting is it to be able to partner with not only Omega Sports, but a real advocate in a community like Dan?
Oh, it's a pleasure. Yeah, I have been with On for about 4 years, and we started with, just a retailer or 2 in this whole Eastern Seaboard, and to have Omega Sports as a partner and to see the brand go in such a short time with the support in the community, allowing us to come in and participate with their runners, as well as with their store employees and their customers, and just see the brand grow from what it used to be to the quickest growing running brand in the industry for about 3 years straight now.
Yeah, and obviously you guys joined us. We had a digital derby a few weeks ago. We had some fun. Sam, a technical rep for On, you get to not only be a part of these events, but you get to work kind of one-on-one with our active play experts. How important is it to be able to kind of exchange that level of knowledge and technical skill set to our active play experts?
Oh my gosh. It's an absolute joy to do it. And I think it's super important, making sure they have the proper knowledge to sell the product, and On being so new and different looking too. It's, I think people it's the first thing they pull off the wall, but they're always a little hesitant because it is something brand new. So just ensuring Omega's, active play experts and everyone on the fit floor that this is, not only a great legging shoe, but it's extremely functional, and supplying them with those tools is pretty key. So it's extremely important. So.
All right. Well, we asked our customers to give us a bunch of questions, so I can't wait to dive in with our AMA Ask Me Anything session. I want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. We're going to get to the AMA in a second. I do have to do some Omega news, but real quick, Dan, you've got some fans already. Ann and Katie Moore, they're all saying good morning. Katie's calling it Dan the Man. I'm sure you've heard that several times. So good morning,
once or twice.
That's joined us.
Once or twice, yeah.
Emily saying hello. Benjamin Freeman saying hello. So we've got some fans on our chat. So thank you guys for joining us. You guys sit tight. I'm going to do some Omega news.
See you in a bit.
All right, guys. So today is Saturday. The sun is out. I know we had some weather earlier in the morning, but the sun is out. It's a perfect time to start celebrating. I know everyone's excited to get out, and a lot of our communities, folks are out and about. Things are starting to open up. Omega Sports is open. We sent out an email this morning. It is our Mega Memorial Active Play Weekend. We have got some in-store specials that I want everyone to really enjoy and get out there. We've got a lot of beachwear. We were really pumped this year about setting up these beach stores in our stores. So we've got a lot of it, and we'd love to make sure that you guys take advantage of some great deals. So this weekend, up until Memorial Day on Monday, we've got buy one, get one. The BOGO is back. Buy one, get one, 50% off on beachwear. So that's going to be your board shorts from some fantastic brands. We've got some summer tees on sale, BOGO 50% off, and then of course sandals. It is sandal season. I know today we're talking about running shoes. You obviously aren't going to be running in sandals, but when you do want to give your feet some rest, you want to get those toes out in the sun, make sure you stop by your neighborhood sports store, Omega Sports, for a fantastic deal on some of the best sandals that you'll find in the industry. So again, today we're open from 10 to 6. Sunday we're open 11 to 6. And then on Monday we're back at 10 to 6. So we want to welcome you in to our stores. So again, I always get excited about our mega news. We've got several fantastic deals also online. You can certainly shop all of our running shoes, including On Running, at omegasports.com. We've got some price drops that you guys can check out in our email. And then, of course, following us on social, we've got some exciting new price drops and some commemorative limited editions that we definitely want to make sure you guys get. We've seen a lot of these limited editions move fast, so I encourage you guys to run fast. And then the biggest thing that I've seen over the last couple of weeks is the fact that we have Garmin on omegasports.com. So we do have some in the stores, but certainly you can go to any Omega Sports and show any of our active play experts any of the Garmin watches that you see on our website, and they can help you get it. So right now we've got select Garmin up to $150 off. There are several different models. The higher price models, Garmin has allowed us to go ahead and take $150 off. So I encourage you guys, if you love that Phoenix 6, I've seen our search surge for that Phoenix 6. So let our active play experts help get you that watch for her or for him. Some great gifts to give away or just to treat yourself. So again, Garmin is still on sale, $150 off. And then, of course, I didn't mention socks. I tend to mention socks a lot. If you are shopping in our neighborhood sports store, we've got Thurlow and Xperia also buy one, get one 50% off. So again, great deals. We really want you to be safe. We really want you to stay active this Memorial Day weekend. We're going to have some fun with you guys. Come on out. We're open from 10 to 6. All right. So I'm going to take a breath. As always, we want to make sure that every single one of our Saturday Mega Wellnesses features a wellness partner. Today, we've got Dr. Clay Sankey from True Motion Therapy. He is joining us to do a 60-second stretching exercise with you. I think today it's going to be on the hip flexor, which, of course, a lot of runners and a lot of athletes really need to work out that hip flexor mobility. True Motion Therapy combines gentle chiropractic and functional movement training to help you overcome pain and perform at your best. They use safe, comfortable, and evidence-based treatments to provide relief in a number of conditions, and those are acute and chronic pain. So if you're suffering with acute or chronic pain, you can certainly reach out to the folks at True Motion. Sports injuries, a lot of athletes are heading over to True Motion to help with their sports injuries, motor vehicle accidents, and then really just wellness and injury prevention. Please, guys, welcome again, Dr. Clay Sankey from True Motion Therapy.
With this stretch, we're going to be focusing on the hip flexor, the front of the thigh, and then we're going to add in an optional stretch that'll involve the whole lateral floor. Find some sort of surface to elevate that back foot up on. The higher that surface, the more of a stretch you're going to get. If it's too uncomfortable to have that foot elevated, just get rid of it entirely. Okay? So we're going to start in this lunge position. Make sure your back's not overarched. Keep that tailbone tucked under, and you're simply going to lean forward. This should give you a pretty good stretch through the front of your thigh and your hip flexor. If you need a little something extra, go ahead and lift that same arm up and bend away.
All right, guys, we want to thank Dr. Clay Sankey. My mic was turned off for a second. From True Motion Therapy, we love having him every weekend. We appreciate him putting that package together for us. We're going to have him again live with us very, very soon. If you are interested in any of the content that True Motion is putting out there, definitely follow them on Instagram at True Motion Therapy. Or if you're in the Charlotte area and you are looking for your chiropractor, there are some safe procedures that they have in place right now. All you have to go to is truemotiontherapy.com. That's truemotiontherapy.com. Guys, it is time to go ahead and answer some of these fantastic questions. I've got the list of questions here. I want to give a quick shout out to some of the folks that have joined us on our Facebook chat. I see Donna is saying, hey, Dr. Clay. Thank you, Donna, for joining us. I see Rashawn, a familiar face. Rashawn, thank you. Good morning. And then, of course, Katie, already bragging about some ons in our chat. So thank you, guys. All right, guys, let's bring back our fantastic running experts. So we've got Dan joining us again.
Hello, Gravity. We know you're there, and we know you can hear us. So listen up. For far too long, you've been holding us runners down. You make us heavy. You make us slow. And at On, we're fighting back. On has reinvented the running shoe. It features clever hollow pods called clouds. They cushion horizontally for an incredibly soft landing. Then they become firm for an explosive takeoff. It's a complete step change. Land soft, yet start fast. It's like running on clouds. Compared to a conventional shoe, the On has a delayed touchdown. Last on the ground, yet first to start. Spend more time in the air. The flexible clouds support your unique form right where you need it. Don't run. Fly. Sorry, Gravity.
All right, guys. Well, I definitely wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of intense, deep information that we could share with you about On running. So that was a fantastic intro video. Guys, please welcome our guests back, Susan Garcelon and Sam Montclair from On Running, joined by our head of running, Dan Kellard. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey,
Good morning.
So Dan, that was an exciting intro video for On, really kind of explaining why this shoe is different. What are you hearing from customers when they are interested or they're looking at On?
So the things that catches their eye is certainly the look of it. I think without fail, it's probably the lightest thing on the wall. So they're amazed when they pick it up. And then certainly on the performance level, just with the options, there's so many options out there for what people are looking for, whether it's something firm or responsive or something softer for those long runs. It's been quite a roll, to say the least.
Yeah, and Susan, so Rashawn, who you know from our Arboretum store, says hashtag sorry gravity. That's an awesome hashtag there. So let's talk about the name. I know a lot of folks, they're like, what is it called? Is it called On? Just for those that aren't familiar.
Yes, that's one of the most common questions that Sam and I get is, how do you say the brand? And sometimes here in the South, it's drawn out, but it is just On, like you turn a light switch on. And it comes from the Cloud Tech technology, turning on or activating your leg and postural muscles, putting you in a little bit more powerful position as you are active. And the O on the logo is supposed to be like a power button turned on. Even though I'm from Charlotte, the shoe is not named after the Queen City. We do get a lot of people saying, is that the QC? But no, it is On.
Sorry, Charlotte.
Darn it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Sam, you obviously being a tech rep, that was a pretty technical look at an introduction to On. What are the main features that you like to talk about when folks are interested, or perhaps you're working with our active play experts?
Yeah, definitely. I think that video really calls out the Cloud Tech, and I mean, I think that's the big part of the shoes, and it's the first thing people see, and that's the reason they want to pick it up. They haven't seen a cushioning system like this before. So with our Cloud Tech, and what that video kind of shows is that these elements, like unlike a traditional shoe that'll just have a block of foam underneath your foot, since they're hollowed out, they're gonna cushion up and down. So vertical cushion, just like any other shoe would. But when you compress those elements, and you saw in the video when the cloud elements really squeeze together, it's called our horizontal cushion. So it'll move back and forth. So it'll disperse that shock a lot more evenly throughout the shoe, rather than just hitting the ground, going down and back up the leg. It'll be moved from side to side. So it's cushion that moves with you instead of against you, which is a really cool aspect and something I like to talk about with the staff. One thing that video didn't really show was the speed board, which I think is another big part of our shoes, if not just as important as the Cloud Tech. So the speed board you're going to see on the bottom of the shoe, it's this full length nylon shank that runs from heel to toe. This gives that shoe some extra stability. Do we lose Dell? So it gives us a little bit of extra stability, and it's going to help with that forward propulsion. So a lot of the things you'll get in our shoes, they'll become more responsive. They're a firm, snappy, fast feel, while still offering that added support and durability. So the Cloud Tech and the Speed Board are two big things that everyone should know about our shoes. So.
All right, thank you for sharing that. I had a little bit of a delay there. All right, so Susan, I wanted to just kind of bring you back in. So On obviously is known for their footwear, but apparel has become an exciting new extension to the brand.
Yes, we've entered into the apparel market. We've been selling apparel for a few seasons now, and the intent is the same as the shoes. It's very technically sound and engineered. We want it to be a runner or an active person's favorite piece in the drawer. So we've searched the globe for technical fabrics all over the world to just make them fit well, to feel like you're wearing nothing, to be light as air, and have full reflectivity, to have full freedom of movement. And so there's great attention to detail.
Great. And Dan, I know from our active play experts, how excited are you guys to be able to start offering this fantastic new apparel line?
For us to get a premium line like this, really pumped everybody up in the stores. Several people have already bought some pieces. I see them wearing them all the time. Fun fact, a couple months ago, I got a pair of the running pants, and probably the nicest things I've ever owned, to say the least. And here's a fun story. So I went for a run in the evening, and put the pants on after taking a shower. They were so comfortable. I said, well, it's cool evening. Let me sleep in them. I slept in them, which is pretty freaking unusual. And then woke up and left them on and went for a run. And I've never probably left anything on for 16 straight hours. And they are so comfortable. Highly recommend it. Yes, they're pricey. I think Susan certainly can allude to that. But again, it's something you're going to get years and years out of. Well worth it.
Yes, the investment in a couple of core good pieces. It's almost like a work wardrobe where you invest in a couple of black pants and a nice jacket that will span a good chunk of your career. The On apparel is similar to that you invest in a few core pieces. They have no tear technology, so you're not going to grab your thumb on a run in the slip pocket and have the shorts tear. They're high quality. They're constructed with craftsmanship, with sealed seams, and just a lot of attention to detail. So that does show up in the price, but you'll get a long life out of it.
Yeah, well worth it. Love them.
Awesome. Well, and I want to give Dan a quick opportunity to brag on Susan and Sam before we jump into our customer questions. I know, Dan, there's a lot of value that both Susan and Sam bring to the table. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm going to let them give us a little short bio on themselves, frankly. I know Susan is a scholarship volleyball player from the West Coast. And then Sam is literally one of the fastest runners in North Carolina. I'm going to let them tell them what their background is a little bit and what their expertise comes from.
So, well, I have been an athlete, primarily team sport athlete, growing up, and I did play volleyball in college at Cal State Fullerton in what is now the Big West. Scholarship there all 4 years. It was a great experience, and with my marketing background and the volleyball, I was able to catapult that into a career, and it's just been a blast. I didn't start running until I had children and could throw them in the stroller and get out, and fell in love with that, and then have been able to tie my passion for running back into a career. And so it's just really a blessing and an exciting job. I love what I do as a sales representative. It's very entrepreneurial, so I get to do fun things like this, something different every day, work with customers at Omega Sports, work with the staff at Omega Sports. So I'm not in a cubicle. I'm out and about and engaging with people, and I just love that. I call myself an experiential runner. I've never been very fast. Half marathon has been my favorite distance. But I choose those places to run with who's available, where they are. I like to explore new cities by doing half marathons in different locations. Sam gives credibility to our team. I like to say that I'm one of the slower members of On, and Sam is probably one of the faster. So as a territory, we come kind of right in the meeting. But Sam is very decorated and very humble. I hope that he'll share some of his accomplishments with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Susan's, she's a beast, by the way. I come to the territory. I was just super stoked. So background on me, ran for a pretty competitive D2 school up in the Northeast, Southern Connecticut State. And from there, I was injured a lot in college. So just provoed for NCAAs, but never qualified for or never made it to the national meet. Back on the roads, I really had all this fire left in me to really get after it. So, from the 5K to the half, I've been pretty successful, running some decent times, nothing too crazy. But I have a big goal to eventually have to wait for 2024. Hopefully, if all this COVID stuff is over, to qualify for the Olympic trials. My half is 106.46, which hopefully translates to a low, 220 or 219 is the goal. So, but I haven't quite found out how to run the marathon quite yet, man. It's my debut is like at 229, and that's a little ways off of where I want to be, but it's a good place to start. So, But yeah, I mean, as far as everything else, I've had a ton of background in run specialty. Come to this job, I worked for a few retailers up in the Northeast. My senior year of college, kind of started at a company called Marathon Sports, and really, got a detailed look at running and all the running brands. And it's the first place I actually learned about On. And I worked for a few other running accounts around the Carolinas and the Northeast as well. So. But when I heard about On, I was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to work with these guys, and luckily got the opportunity. So yeah, it's been awesome. I get to work with Susan, so couldn't ask for much more, and Omega Sports, obviously. So it's been a blast, man. And I'm going to stop rambling on that.
No, that's fine. So Dan, you're obviously a Mega Nation thinks very highly of Sam. And so that's an opportunity for you to talk about the fact that we are so lucky to be able to work with both Susan and Sam with their quality, experience, and expertise.
Yeah, it's been terrific having them out at all of our events, bringing demo shoes. I think introducing everybody to that shoe is the key, and we'll continue to do that once we get the green light from the city and all those safety recommendations that we'll certainly follow. I love when those guys show up. I appreciate Susan joining me on the run, and I appreciate Sam cooling his jets while he joins us on our runs.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about once before we get into the questions. Just again, Susan, the relationship between run specialty stores like Omega Sports and the brand of On. I mean, I think people don't realize the fact that On purposefully works with specialty stores versus being in every big box merchant that's out there. You guys really do, and we felt it. So we certainly have felt the love from you guys as a run specialty, especially when it comes to this pandemic. We've worked with you guys. You guys launched some new initiatives, and we certainly jumped on those initiatives.
Yes, working with Run Specialty. So On is a relatively young brand. We are older than you think, but 10 years old. We've been in the United States about 8 years, but really the market has grown in the last 3. And because of the cloud technology, there's a story to tell and a history. And so the engagement at Run Specialty, when you go in to sit with an active fit specialist, they can tell you about the cloud tech and talk to you about how you're going to use it and really dial in a great fit and performing shoe for you from our entire line. And so that's really important for those fit specialists and active fit staff to just dial in and be able to share our story. And it's kind of interesting, actually. So Olivier Bernard, who is one of the founders of On, was injured. He tore his Achilles tendon while he was competing. And upon recovering, he went out for a run and was not happy with the shoes that were on the market. And actually, he was running in Miami on the boardwalk, and the sand, how sand kind of blows up on the cement and can be slippery. But after that run, he realized that his legs felt much fresher than they typically would do or would feel. And so he attributed that to that slip of the sand. And he took that premise to a Swiss engineer, and they tried to replicate that. And that's why the Cloud also has that horizontal shock, because it compresses and then gives it a little bit of slip. And so to try and emulate that, they took pieces of garden hose and cut them off and just adhered them to the bottom of their regular running shoes and ran on them. And that's kind of how the Cloud Tech came to be, was to really duplicate that compression and roll forward to help take that strain off of your body.
I love hearing that. I've heard that story several times. I appreciate you sharing it once again for our viewers. I think that history and kind of the, that innovation of solving a problem, then launching a brand around that problem obviously is helping runners, perform well. And then of course they look fantastic as well. So let's jump into the AMA. Are you guys ready?
Bring it. Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to give you a quick shout out to On and our team here. Ann says that she got her new Cloud X's just 2 weeks ago. It was fast, and she is just thankful for the recommendation from our North Hills expert, Daisy. She gave a shout out to Daisy. All right, so we're going to jump into some questions here. So hopefully I don't get them out of order or lose my internet. So Patrice from Raleigh, she wants to know, she runs and she does HIIT, so high intensity interval training workouts. And she wanted to know what would be a good recommendation for her. Sam, do you want to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. So right off the bat, we typically would recommend the Cloud X. That's going to be our shoe that the whole motto behind that shoe is, remix your run or remix your workout. And in doing stuff like that, the X is one of our most versatile shoes in our lineup, really similar to our Cloud, which is right here, built on the same shape and last. Just going to be a little bit more durable. It's really going to hold that person in. So if they're doing their burn boot camp workout, their Orange Theory workout, anything like that, it has a nice, stable, firm base for them to work out on, maybe a softer floor if they had a burn boot camp to do their squats and lunges and everything. And also if they're going outside and doing like some fast intervals or anything like that, really mixing it up, they can still really hold up to the higher paces. So I would go Cloud X all the way. If she's looking for something she loves that, but wants a little bit more cushion, something like the Cloud Flow might also work pretty darn well. So yeah, awesome. Cloud X, Cloud Flow all the way.
Well, Ann obviously agrees. Daisy made that recommendation, Dan. So is that a go-to for you as well?
Cloud X for sure. I would certainly love to have that interview in the store and find out how much she's going to run in them. Certainly the Cloud Swift has also had some real good success with those people doing cross training in boot camp type workouts. So again, if it's just short intervals, something she's going to probably put on and take off after the workout, the Cloud X is probably the way to go. But if she's looking for something a little softer, certainly the Flow works, but also the Swift, I think just with a wider platform is inherently more stable. So certainly any of those three, again, having them come into the store is key to answer some of those questions we're going to have for how often they're going to be working out, how often they're going to run in it.
Yeah, I want to stay on that point, Dan. So I'm going to jump ahead to a couple of questions down our list here. Megan from Cary, she's a new runner, or maybe she's coming back to running. She said, what do I need to know before making a decision and buying a shoe? Dan, tell us more about what people can expect to come in when you say that we're going to interview someone or have a session with someone to learn about what their goals are.
So the first thing I would say is they need to know not to buy any shoe off the wall. They really need to go in to see some experts. Hopefully it's with us. And then we're going to ask questions about how often they intend to run, how many miles they intend to run, probably talk a little bit about their pace, where they think they're going to be. And that's really going to guide us to kind of shrink the selection down, because right now I think our selection is so impressive, it can be overwhelming. So those questions certainly help us narrow down that selection and not make it so overwhelming. And then have them try it on. And if we can time it right, maybe there's some demo runs that she can also attend to certainly get the right fit and right feel for what she's looking for.
And Susan, you talked about, when we were bragging on you, you said that you came to running later in life, after you had a child. So you obviously identify with someone who may be new to the sport, going in and asking those questions. Do you have any particular questions that you would encourage Megan to seek out, other than working with a run specialty store?
Yeah, definitely. As Dan said, go in and ask the experts, and just share with them how you're going to use it. Even if you're a walker, you don't have to be a new runner. And there are loads of new runners now that so many gyms and things have been closed. So don't be afraid or overwhelmed that this interview process is intensive and that you're not a runner, and so you're not worthy of a great fit. Happy feet gives you, it makes a world of difference. You can certainly learn to, running can be intimidating and sometimes it hurts. But that runner's high is a real thing. And if you learn to just kind of push through, you can find it. And having happy feet and comfortable fit is key. So I would say just go in, talk to them. Even if you're a beginner and you're going to start out walking or doing an interval, just moving forward, I think is good. And don't feel like you're subpar because you haven't done it before. Just get out there and get going.
Yep, absolutely. So I'll just reiterate. So when you come to Omega Sports, your neighborhood sports store, your Active Play expert will take you through a shoe fitting process. We've got fantastic world, class technology that will help you. We've got sensors that will scan your feet to make sure that when we make a recommendation for a running shoe, we really are, that interview sounds like it's a very, intense process, but it really is as comfortable as it can be. I mean, you come into our store, you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we get you into either one of our machines to go ahead and put your feet in so that we can scan your feet. But definitely that free fit process that we offer at Omega Sports is key to just really understanding what really should fit well for you. And it helps us be experts to make that proper recommendation. All right, so we're going to jump into another question here. So Tom from Burlington said that I've heard of various ranges. This one we probably hear a lot, Dan. But I'd like to know what you would tell folks. Tom from Burlington wants to know, when is a good time to replace their running shoes?
Wow, that's such an individual question for each person who uses it. There's probably a median mileage wear that certainly averages out. It's usually 300 to 500 miles. It's usually 6 months is a good indication if you're using it 3-4 days a week, 20 miles a week, 20 hours a week. Those are all really good indications that 6 months it's up. But again, if somebody's running 50 miles a week, those people are probably rotating a couple shoes every 3 months. They're rolling out new ones. And again, I think part of that process we're talking about back in the store and asking questions is, how efficient are they on their runs? I mean, some people are much harder on their footwear than others. Do they run with scuff? Are they running lightly on their shoes? So those are all questions we would ask, but I certainly say on average 300 to 500 miles. Again, that depends on the model and the person.
Yeah, so Sam, I'm gonna have you jump in as a decorated runner. I mean, I think the main thing that I would say that I heard is that it is very important to consider replacing your running shoes. I think the idea that as long as they look good, they can continue to keep wearing them is probably not the best way to go at it. Would you agree?
Oh, you completely agree. I mean, the upper can still be intact and look great on the shoe, but that foam and that there's like a chemical breakdown going on that even if it's not really showing on the wear, which a lot of time it will show on the outsole, the foam still does break down quite a bit. So just keep in mind, a lot of times off of feel, you can kind of tell when that shoe's wearing. But if you look at the outsole too, you'll notice some of the rubber on the outsole is wearing away as well. So it completely depends on, like Dan said, the model and the runner too. Somebody who may be a little bit more efficient on their feet might get a little bit more out of a Cloud Flow or X versus maybe somebody who's a little bit of a heavier runner. Maybe they should be in more of an Ace or a Stratus, or they might just not get as much out of the Flow and X. So it's totally dependent on the runner and where they are too. So yeah.
Got it. Well, I just want to let you know, Chase from Store 11 says they love On Running. Just wanted to throw that out there. So anyways, Tom, we heard your question, and we encourage you to come to our neighborhood sports store so that we can talk a little bit more about what you're doing on your shoes so that we can give you a proper estimate of when is a good time to replace them. All right, so we're going to jump into George from Wilmington, is a distance runner, and he puts a ton of miles on his shoes. What would you, Susan, say is your longest lasting shoe? Maybe this is a little bit similar to, we have to have a more intense conversation, but if you had to say what's a long lasting shoe, what would you say for a long distance runner?
Well, On has a couple of different outsole materials. Helion is a proprietary super foam that is lighter than EVA. It is more durable than EVA. It's temperature consistent. So that would probably be, we've got 3 or 4 models that contain Helion in the outsole that would give some great durability. Also, the Cloud Surfer and the Cloud Ace have rebound rubber. And so that rubber also has a lot of durability. So we recommend, depending on the model, somewhere between 300 and 500 miles per model. But like the Cloud Surfer, I know several runners that can get almost 600 miles out of that. Again, depending on the stature of the runner and the frequency. A lot of times if you rotate your shoes and allow the foams and the outsoles to have 24 hours and spring back, then you'll get a little more distance out of those models. But Sam, what do you think as far as models? Which ones?
Oh yeah,
of the Helion?
Definitely. I would have to go with a Stratus. Most like actually Stratus. Just I think that On's new Superfoam Helion really it's really wowing a lot of people right now, and it speaks durability wise and the weight of it and how responsive it is. It's just awesome. So you can't get much better than the 2 layers of Helion foam underneath the foot. And other than that, too, the Cloud Ace would be another great option. So I would go Stratus or Ace would be your go-tos.
Absolutely. So, Dan, I just have to pause for a second and say, how awesome is this that we're able to have experts, get real technical with these shoes to our viewers out there. I see Chase, I see Lisa's joined us. Some fun folks on our chat are weighing in on. But how cool is it to have them talk about, Helion?
Yeah, it's awesome. They have all the knowledge, and I love that they're sharing it today. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we've got a question from Fuquay Barina, which we don't hear a lot from. Billy from Fuquay says, I've never really bought a running shoe with purpose. I probably fell into this category for a while. I usually just get something that looks good. Am I risking any performance over style? Susan, I'm going to let you answer that one because I know you have a good answer to that.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's so awesome and unique about On is that we're a technical performance brand, but we do an amazing job of marrying style. In fact, we just launched a very style sneaker shoe, the Cloud Nova, and that is for folks that are very into fashion, and we have always married that with the look and styling of our running shoes. In fact, as Sam mentioned earlier, a lot of times people come into Omega Sports and have this vast shoe wall, and On is one of the first brands they pick up because it looks so different because of the clouds, but then because we have some of these cool color combinations that you don't typically see. There's flashy things like this, and there's neutral things that you can wear all day. We like to say never not on at On because we have such an array of products and things that you can wear every day to the grocery store, to the burn boot camp, out for a run, traveling. They come in and out off of through TSA very easily. They're lightweight. You can pack them. They're just super versatile, performance oriented, but you can use them all day for everything.
Yeah, my first experience with On, I think I told probably 100 people, these are my go-to when I travel because they're so easy to travel with. Dan, we've got some folks here that says amen on that style. I know you hear it firsthand. Everyone remarks about the style of these fantastic running shoes.
They're just gorgeous. I mean, frankly, you can wear them. You can dress them up. I think I wore a pair to a wedding I went to last year. I'm not kidding. They're that good looking. So I don't think you have to sacrifice style for performance with On, for sure.
All right. Well, good. All right. So Mike from Durham, this one is regarding size. So he says his kids and I are 13 and up, I guess shoe size. Is there anything that I should consider when looking for a running shoe for larger feet? I feel like I settle for whatever is available. I know this is an interesting topic because obviously we can't carry every single size that's out there. But Dan, when you have folks that are looking for larger sizes, what's a conversation look like?
So the beauty is we do carry up to 14, the occasional 15, but certainly On goes all the way up to 14. Certainly if he needs a wider forefoot, because often people in that 13, 14 do need that. There are certain models within the online that certainly would fit and accommodate that foot 13, 14 pretty simply. So we carry all those.
Yep. And then Susan, I'm going to jump to our next question because it's regarding size as well. Margot is usually a buyer of wide size shoes, but she loves the look of On. So she was hoping that you could make some recommendations on, can she still consider On just because the sizing doesn't necessarily scream out wide?
Yes, you certainly can consider On. So we do have a couple of models that Dan referred to. The Cloud Swift has a little bit wider forefoot, and 7 millimeters wider than that is the Cloud Stratus. We don't have a true wide shoe in the line yet, but so the heel can give you a secure fit with a little bit wider toe box. That's for a couple of reasons: to accommodate fit of a variety of people, but also as you run and go farther, your foot tends to swell. So it gives you a little bit more room for that toe splay and swelling, and especially those two models. And as I alluded, the wides are not available yet, but I have not seen any prototypes, but I have heard that late in fall of 21 that in some key models On will bring wides to the market.
There you go. Breaking news.
Yes.
Breaking news, guys.
That's
All
great
right.
news.
We're going to keep moving on. So Tim from Greensboro, I see we've got some questions in our chat. I will get to those in a second. Tim from Greensboro. This is I would say a probably fan favorite question. He wants to know, will you be launching a tennis shoe now that Roger Federer has come on board with On as a spokesperson? Susan, do you want to take that one?
Sure, yeah. So we have had, Sam and I, the pleasure to meet Roger via virtually, I guess. He's been on a couple of meetings with all of us at On, and we're excited to have him as an investor. He's not necessarily a sponsored athlete. As a retired athlete or retiring athlete, still greatest in the world, but he will be an investor, and he will be involved in some projects with On. Running is implemental to just about every sport, and so On will be staying true to its heritage with Performance Run. And so I don't believe, I don't know all of what's coming from Roger, but I suspect that it will not be a true court shoe. It will be more running and style based, but I can't tell you too much, but keep your eyes tuned.
I feel like Susan's holding back. That's okay. We'll ask Sam. Sam, so obviously, as Susan said, I won't put you on the spot, but as Susan said, obviously running is important for a lot of sports, and those tennis players obviously have to move around a lot. So having a spokesperson or an investor, I should say, like Roger Federer, it really kind of opens up the world to consider this brand. What are you hearing when people know that Roger Federer is now part of On?
Oh my gosh. It's just in being in stores, and I was actually in Omega Wilmington yesterday, and I think there's somebody in there. They had heard that, they were like, oh, I'm trying on these clouds right now just because I heard about Roger Federer and he's invested into it. So it's not so much, they're saying it, but it's like, it's almost turning into sales in a strange way that it's really neat to see that one person or one mega superstar can have like that impact on a brand and company. So I've seen it as far as sell through. It's done something, which is pretty crazy, and it's awesome. But I get a lot of people and a lot of owners from different accounts will say like, oh, that's so cool that y'all are working with him now. Are there any collaborations or anything like that on the horizon? And you'll have to stay tuned. I don't know, maybe.
I thought you were going to drop some news.
But it's been great, man. And via meeting Roger through Zooms and Zoom meetings and different town halls and stuff is awesome. He's a super person. So
yeah, really I think excited. It's important to really kind of celebrate the fact. I think that what I feel that's different is I mistakenly call him a spokesperson, but he trusts and believes in this brand so much that he's not a paid spokesperson. He's not a paid athlete. He's actually working with you guys to really kind of continue the future success of On. So that's exciting to have the world's, one of the world's greatest athletes kind of join On and say this brand is so important and in such demand. So kudos to you guys. All right.
I think it's kind of interesting too. I'll just share one thing on that Roger shared with us is that his wife started wearing On, and that's who brought his attention to On. And it was through that, through his wife, that he kind of reached out to On versus us pursuing him as an investor. So
well,
I thought that was kind of cool.
I'm not gonna vouch or say that Dan and Lisa Keller want to invest in On, but they certainly have got a lot of On. So if you're looking for that other running couple, there's no better running couple in Omega than Dan and Lisa Keller. I'm going to jump over to a question that we had in our chat. This is a question that Emily put in there that says, any advice? And this is something that I know you talked about this morning. and Sam, for your run. She said, any advice for running in the summer heat? Would love some apparel recommendations.
So I'm going to take that second part of that, some apparel recommendations. So I did get a pair of On running shorts during the lockdown and ran in them. I've run in them probably half a dozen times now. And, you know, as embarrassing as this sounds, it does feel like you're not running with anything on. It's that light, that breathable. I think Susan or Sam would probably know the names of some of the lightweight shorts, as well as the Tech Top as well, the technical name for it. But we certainly do carry them at 3 of our locations now. Shameless plug there. But honestly, it's the lightest, most breathable stuff I've put on in the last couple months, and tried them out and love them. So I don't know, Susan, what's the name of those shorts? And
you nailed it, Dan. It's the lightweight shorts.
Okay. There we go.
So the women's running short, we also have a women's race short, which is a little, has about a half split. But we like to say better than bare because the moisture wicking fabric dries quickly and pulls the sweat away from your body to help keep you cool. I think along with that, we've got some hats that keep you shaded. Hydration is key to running in the summer heat, not just right before you run and after, but all day, the night before, and make sure that you're hydrated and fresh. Sam, anything to add on the apparel?
Definitely, yeah. So some of the tops are our performance tee and our performance tank as well. Everything is like Dan nailed it. It's like you're wearing nothing. Everything is either tapes or flat seams, and so there's really no rubbing, no irritation or blistering, anything like that. And as we get into like this more summer, June, July, it's just going to get more and more humid. So wearing those pieces is awesome. It's like you're always going to be blister free. It's literally weighs less than 3 grams, which is nuts, super, super lightweight. So performance tee, performance tank all the way.
Good deal.
Yeah, and Susan, I've lost on the question, but I know someone sent in a question about the reflectiveness of some of your apparel. I remember when our active play expert Daisy was over the moon on the apparel coming into our North Hills location, and she was, literally, she kept talking about the reflectiveness of, I think, some of your tights or running pants.
Yeah, so all of our pieces, so I think I have on, it's hard to do this backwards, the performance tee and the logo on all of our pieces are reflective. There's little strips of tapes or seam covers that are also all reflective, so that you have 360-degree reflectivity on all of our technical pieces, and the jackets, the pants. The reflective tight is it's a fully reflective piece, so that when a car light flashes, so if you're a pre-dawn or a post-work runner, also keeps you safe, but it's very subtle. So when you're wearing the piece, you don't necessarily look like a light bright or a traffic cone. You can go into the grocery store and look properly dressed and then go out and perform a run and feel safe as well. But on that tight, it's a very lightweight. It's great for all seasons. Some women like to have that protection of a tight all year, and you can wear it in just about all seasons because it is lightweight, but then it has full reflectivity. And I wish that I had like a little picture of it to show you, but you have to go into Omega Sports,
Absolutely.
Take your phone, take a flash picture of it, and the whole tight lights up. It's pretty amazing.
That's exactly what Daisy did. She said, no, you've got to like flash it with your phone, and then it just lights up. So thank you for sharing that. Emily put a comment in here. She said, thanks, guys. Susan and Sam are the best. Thanks for those recommendations. Hey, Emily, Dan weighed in on that too. So thank you, Dan, for that recommendation as well.
Thanks, Emily.
Thanks,
all right,
Emily.
so Luke from Wake Forest, we've got a few more questions for those that are joining us live. We've got a few more questions that we want to run through because we did have some great customers send these in. Luke from Wake Forest, what's the biggest difference, Sam, on how many clouds are on a shoe? So the clouds are obviously the pods at the bottom, right?
Yeah, we call them our cloud elements. So pending, your flow, you're going to get 18 individual elements on the bottom. You're going to get a more flexible shoe. There will be a little bit more padding, but depending on the model too. So some of your more stable models like a Flyer or a Stratus are going to have wider elements on the bottom, and you're going to have less of them too. So those different shaped elements, we do stability through geometry. So like the Flyer will have fewer elements, but much wider surfaced elements. You're going to get a little bit more cushion. You're going to get a little bit more of a stable platform versus like a Cloud, which has a ton of elements, or a Cloud Flow. The shoe might be a little bit more neutral. It's going to be a lot more flexible because there's more elements on the bottom. But you might get a more direct cushion. We don't call it firm cushion, but more direct underfoot. So really varies. So say we'll take the Flow, for instance, you'll get a more firm, flexible, responsive ride versus like a Flyer, which is Dan Keller's favorite shoe, or like a Stratus, something like that. You're going to have much wider elements, a much wider platform on the bottom of the shoe. It's going to be more stable. So it affects it in stability and in as far as it being stability or neutral, and the amount of cushion you're going to get. So
right. So
yeah.
the assumption is
Del,
the more clouds, the better. Yes, Susan.
can I jump in and add one thing too that's unique about On? Because our outsole is split, that the clouds react to each individual runner's gait. So Dan talked about some runners shuffle versus some are heavier on their feet. And so the clouds, because they act independently, they'll react independently to each runner's gait, giving you a very comfortable ride. A lot of people will step into them and notice the lightweight, but when they go for a ride on them, they'll notice that they just feel so natural. And that is because they give you a custom individual ride and react to your own gait cycle.
Yep.
Sam, can I jump in here?
Yep.
And
Oh,
let me ask Sam
yeah,
a question.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the Cloud Stratus, which has that double layer of Cloud Tech underfoot? Because that's very unusual. It's a newer shoe in your lineup with just this last year. Talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, definitely. So in a Flyer and a Stratus. So in the Stratus, you're going to get, so you can see like on a typical Cloud shoe, just a Cloud element in each individual spot. The Stratus, you're going to have a Cloud that feels that gap right there. So you're going to get continuous cushion all the way throughout the shoe. You're also going to get a much wider, more stable platform under your foot. So inherent stability through geometry. There we go. Susan has it. Thank you, Susan. So you can see, you'll see each Cloud element filling each gap. So you're going to get a more fully cushioned running shoe. So that's going to be the big thing. We wanted to layer up on Clouds. The whole mantra behind that shoe was to double your run. So you're going to double the amount of distance you can go. That's going to be your inherent stability support shoe from us. You can see in the forefoot as well, the channels are connected to you for more, you're going to get more responsive toe off. You're going to get a little bit more forefoot cushion. And the forefoot's also going to be about 7 millimeters wider than any other shoe that we have out right now. So it's really that shoe that's for someone who's like, all right, maybe, I get the woman in my store needs the C or D width shoe. That's going to work really well. Vice versa, Min, who's an E or 2E width. And in the forefoot too, you're going to get that star lacing pattern. Thank you, Susan. This is like teamwork to the next level.
The new Vanna White.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So you get your star lacing as well. It's going to leave that toe box nice and wide and open and connect that midfoot channel. So that midfoot's still going to stay nice and snug. You're going to get that arch support, but you're still going to let those toes splay out and have a nice, nice stable feel in the forefoot. And then you also get a different eyelet configuration. So you have an extra row of eyelets through the top of the shoe. So if you have a wider foot, you can lace them through there. Vice versa, if you have a more narrow foot, you can leave them laced through the middle of the shoe. And then in the heel counter as well, you're going to get an asymmetrical heel counter. So it's going to be a little bit more raised on the medial side and a little less on the lateral side. So you're also going to get stability there. In none of our shoes are we going to use postings or anything like that. But you're going to get, your stability through these different elements that they kind of clued in the shoe. And that is all Helion, by the way, those two dual layers. So it's I wouldn't say we're not going for like the softest shoe in the world, but it's definitely one of the more softer shoes in our lineup. But it still maintains that, firm, responsive feel that you're going to get in all of our shoes. So that's going to be your
I'm going
Stratus.
to give you guys good job, Sam. Good job, Susan,
Thank
on
you.
modeling. Great question. Dan,
It's tough without the shoes.
it's so awesome to be able to share this information. I know, Dan, this is like we're geeking out on all this information. This is
Oh
awesome.
yeah, this is my world. I love
But
it.
Yep.
and going back to what Susan said too, she was talking about a little bit before that Stratus, but I think it was so great that she brought it up too. Is that our shoes, or at least for the Cloud, the X, and the Flow, the ones that maybe have a little bit more elements on the bottom, the break-in period is really minimal. Like as soon as you get into that shoe, it feels like you've already been not that you've already been wearing it, but you don't really need to break up that foam since it's all segmented on the bottom. So that's another kind of piece.
Excellent point.
The more elements you have. So.
Excellent point. Excellent point, Sam. All right, so we got a few more questions. We've got actually, Sam, you just answered Melissa's question from Greensboro. What's the best way to break in a new running shoe? So anything you want to add on to that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going into one of those shoes like an X or a Flow, I think it's one of those shoes you can almost go out and do a longer run in and feel like there's not as much of a break-in period. But to be safe, for most shoes, and Dan and Susan can speak on this too, is like, maybe take it out for an easy run first before you're going all out in your hard 10-mile tempo run or whatever you're doing out there. So I think, taking it out for some easier runs first is a good idea. But I'll let Dan clue in on that too.
Yeah, I would definitely say if it's a model you've bought before and you're just getting a new pair, you can go out and just continue on and no break-in necessary at all. If it's a new model completely to you and your feet, I definitely agree with Sam and take it out for a little short run, wear it around the house for several days in a row, and then continue to increase mileage in it so that you're fully confident and comfortable with it and know that that's the right shoe for you.
Great. So the last question I'm going to have for you guys today is very similar to that. Dan, you talked about if it's a new model to you. Tess from Smithfield, North Carolina, wants to know how frequently do new models come out of On? And then she'd like to also know what's the next exciting launch, Susan?
Well, the next exciting launch comes in July. We've got new colors of some carryover styles for the Cloud Flow, the Cloud Surfer, and the Cloud Swift. And then we've got a model update coming at the end of July for the Cloud X. I'm super excited about that one. And at the end of August, a model update for the Cloud Flyer. So that is one of Dan's favorites. And I think we've made a great shoe even better.
Yeah, and Dan, I know you've mentioned this in the past, that when it comes to On, those like every 6-month updates or 2 times a year updates on models is not what you should expect from this brand. And you're actually in favor of that.
Yeah, I think what I love about On is the fact that once they have created a shoe, they'll typically leave it alone for a few years. And only update it when it's absolutely necessary or they feel the need to. And so what you'll see are certainly lots of new color options over the life of that model before they update it. So those people who get really frustrated when brands change a fit on their favorite shoe every single 12 months or less really can have some confidence that there's a good chance that On is going to have that same model next year.
Yep, and that always obviously keeps with our customers, their loyalty, brand loyalty, both to the running store that put them in those shoes, and then of course to the brand itself. So I just want to end with first thanking you guys for this awesome AMA, answering a lot of questions. Thanks for going deep into a lot of details. Real quick, Dan, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about the fact that we've talked about Cloud Stratus, Cloud Flyer, Cloud Venture, a lot of these names or these models that On offers that, you can go to your neighborhood sports store and you can see them on the wall, or you can find them on our website, or you can actually use, Dan, you've got your own personal avenue for shopping called dan.omegasports.com. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so if you jump on that website, you'll be able to see the entire line of On in every single color. I mean, we have 1 million colors here at the store, but let's say 2 million on the On website. But it goes directly through us Just a really cool initiative that On came up with during our COVID-19 shutdown to help support the local stores. Super awesome. Thank you very much again.
Yeah, and Susan, I'm going to let you brag on Dan because we didn't really brag on him. He bragged on you guys. Obviously, Dan is a, decorated runner, marathon. I mean, he's run how many marathons? I want to say probably close to 100, if not more.
No. Slow down.
No,
Slow down.
not that many? Okay.
No, probably 100 races. Lots of
100
ultras, lots of
races.
marathons.
Okay.
Half marathon is also my jam. Me and
There
Susan
you
can
go.
do that one.
Well, Susan, let's brag on the fact that when we launched dan.omegasports.com and some other channels, we took the lead and we've maintained the lead on this particular program that you guys offer.
Yeah, so Dan was the perfect choice to lead the charge for Omega Sports because he has such reach with Omega Nation and is so relatable and welcoming to runners of all capabilities. And so Dan did a video that highlighted we call it RAN. It is the Retailer Affiliate Network, which allows retailers, when their stores were closed, to share revenue with On through purchases through the On website. And that opened up the shopping capabilities for all of Omega Nation to shop from the full On assortment. And you are leading the globe with over 230 purchases. So I think the next participant is much less than half of that. So thank you, Omega Nation, for supporting Omega Sports and Dan and On.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Dan, Chase says, I see Dan blushing.
Come on now.
It's all the red. It's all the red. All right, guys. Well,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, actually, I had met Dan way before I got this job with On. I met him in Boulder, Colorado, when I was working for a run specialty store. They invited me out to an university, which really made me fall in love with the brand. And I met a ton of people, my future boss and all that. But I remember I was actually seated at the same table with Dan. And man, I was like one of the youngest people there that like the store owners were supposed to go. And I didn't go. And I just ended up going for him. And, I was super scared and nervous the entire time. And I remember Dan was like one of the only people who would kind of like talk to me, or we were talking at the table and stuff. And I don't know. I think Dan is just a really awesome guy. He really he made me feel comfortable. And my first, our first demo on this job, I was with the Atlanta tech rep, Seth, and we were out at a demo, and Dan was like, "Hey, I remember you, man." And I just thought it was super nice, and he really has a great way of making you feel comfortable and awesome. So I really respect Dan and the Omega Nation. I'm trying not to tear up, but yeah. But I think Dan and Dale are great, and I think everyone we work with at Omega is pretty darn awesome. So it's always a pleasure going into the stores. So.
Absolutely. Well, we think you guys are awesome. Again, I love that we've now done 2 shows with you guys. We had some excitement around our digital derby, and this one was, I think, even more special because we got to really talk about the brand, showcase your expertise, really connect with customers with the questions that they have. So I want to thank Dan for taking I know he's busy and took time to help get some questions from some of our customers and our runners, and then of course Sam and Susan for spending the morning with us. I want to thank you guys. You guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Definitely get out there and stay active. I'm going to give you back your Saturday while I go ahead and close down the show. Thank you guys
very much.
Thanks for having us. Happy Memorial Day.
All right, guys, this has been a fantastic show. We went a little over time, but I hope that you found that it was very, very useful and satisfying. So I want to thank you guys for joining. Again, we are live on Facebook every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We go 45 to an hour depending on our guests and the information that we have to provide. Remember, we are open. We're open today. We're open Saturday, and we're open on Memorial Day. We want to wish everyone a safe and happy Memorial Day, and remember to take time to honor and celebrate the fact that Memorial Day is really based on all of those fantastic folks that gave their lives to support while they were serving in our armed forces. So again, on Monday, let's make sure that we remember those folks. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. Again, you can find us at omegasports.com. Have a great day.